Chapter 11 and 56, it redefined how we look at Gold D. Roger. Because for years, the Pirate King was seen as a distant legend, a symbol of unreachable greatness, but with this chapter, Oda pulled back the curtain, and in doing so, he made Roger more human, more relatable, and honestly, even more badass. And before I start the video, I know this is probably a controversial topic. It's been like in the past week or so smash the like button, please. I mean, my channel has been growing like crazy recently, so thank you guys for the support. Smash the like button because it really supports in the algorithm. Until now, Roger was this untouchable figure. We knew he laughed in the face of death, conquered the Grand Line, and discovered the One Piece. But we never really got to see the man behind the myth. And chapter 1156 thankfully changed that completely. Roger in the chapter was not the king of the pirates. He was Roger the human being. He was Roger, part of the Roger Pirates with his friends. Was Roger the young guy who just wanted to be free? Because as we know, Roger's dream was simply not to be the king of the pirates. He even said it to Whitebeard, like he asked Whitebeard, or he told Whitebeard that, do you know what they call me now? They call me the king of the pirates. So that's not even his goal. His goal was to be the most, not his dream, because his dream is similar to Luffy's, which we still don't know yet, alright? But his goal was to be the most free man in the world and to reach the final island, or to conquer the seas by discovering every single island and to reach the final island of One Piece, which nobody has ever stepped foot into this island for 800+ years. Gold D. Roger isn't perfect. He made mistakes. He laughed too much, lived too fast, and died too young. But he had heart. He believed in people. He was simply a simp, like most of us. Let's be for real. I mean, at that time, Roger was probably 34, probably 32, 32-ish. Something around that. Bro, I mean, if you're around that age and you don't find like girls attractive, or you don't fall in love with them and all that stuff, you're simply not a man, am I right? Because Gold D. Roger at that time, I mean, to look at Shakuyaku or Gloriosa without even finding them attractive or without falling in love with them, I know, like, as a gag, Roger did not give a damn about Gloriosa, but at the same time, he was crazy in love with Shakuyaku. And that is how Oda makes a gag and makes a person or a character relatable. Oda doesn't like the oh my god, so much aura, he's just like, he's him and all that stuff type of characters. He makes it with a certain like characters which does not have the it as a character to be relatable to the fans. Like, for example, Rocksteady Zebek is one of the greatest characters to ever exist in One Piece, right? But is he relatable? No, because you don't find any random people on the streets just wanting to be the king of the world. And that is how, or that is why Oda is making characters like Rocksteady Zebek, or I don't know, Mihawk, or these characters, they're perfect. And that is how they're simply green. I mean, not in a bad way, but they're just simply green because they're not relatable. I'm not gonna like be walking on the streets and wanting to be like the world's strongest swordsman or whatever. And that is how Oda loves to create like simplicity and making his characters relatable, even if you're like the strongest man ever. Like, even if you're Roger, even if you're like Whitebeard, Garp, all these characters, you all see them. Like, even Sengoku, bro, like, he's now retired. He's just simply, all he cares about his goat, like feeding it and doing all these goofy stuff. And that is how Oda loves to write his characters. And that's honestly what makes One Piece perfect. Because when you look at like great characters like Roger, Whitebeard, Garp, Sengoku, all these characters, you just find something like ridiculous in these characters. Like Garp, like, doesn't give a damn about whatever, even so like he's in a position which he most certainly gotta be like more serious and to protect the bitches that's Celestial Dragons or doing like whatever. Okay, he didn't care. He simply didn't care. He did, like, he's done whatever he wanted to because that is simply his character. Whitebeard could have done a lot of stuff like in his time, but he chose to not to because he just simply wanted a family. He wanted to be a father. He wanted all that stuff. And that's what makes One Piece characters more special. Like, when you look at, for example, and I'm not like ditching or like whatever, I'm not really shitting on like other anime or other characters, but for example, like, look at Bleach. Okay, you're gonna find some enormous amount of like great characters, but when you look at them individually, they're simply not relatable because they're not real. You cannot just look at Aizen or okay, let's not talk about villains. You cannot like look at Yamamoto or all the like Geto 13, the leaders and all these guys, or looking at these characters and finding them like relatable. And even Stan Lee himself mentioned that fact that even if you're gonna like create a superhero, which is a hero that has zero flaws, you have to make him a human being first. Like even when you're like watching a Marvel movie or like MCU movie, you're gonna simply find this character a human being first, and then like him or her or whatever like being the superhero as they are. Because at first you gotta make these characters relatable, you gotta feel something, feel emotions towards that character, and then make him like the greatest character ever. I don't care, okay? And that is how Goldie Roger simply, he's goofy. I mean, we've seen it in the Odin flashback. He's goofy. He just simply runs away from like monster animals, or he just escapes, or he does some stupid stuff and be simply like goofing around and doing all these crazy stuff. In Odin flashback, Oda simply gave you the fact that Roger is an idiot. He's goofy. He's simply a simple dude, like just wanted to conquer the seas, just wanted to be the most free man in the world. Like Luffy doing all these stuff, freeing all these people and all these countries without wanting like them to call him a hero. I mean, yeah, Oda like put it in a funny way, which he doesn't want to share meat and all that stuff, but like in reality, Luffy did not want to be acknowledged as a hero or a king or whatever. He simply didn't. And he even told them in Dressrosa, when all the like Grand Fleet wanted to acknowledge Luffy as their leader and all that stuff, he find that funny because he didn't want all of that. He told them straight up, like, I did not, or I don't even want like to conquer the seas or whatever. I just simply want to be the most free man in the world. And that's what makes Oda and his writing and his like storytelling for the characters and the character development that he does like in the greatest characters in his story. It makes them relatable. It makes them greater than they're even presented as to be, okay? And that is how, this is simply Oda's style of writing. So yeah, I guess that's simply it. That is how I feel and I believe about this chapter, about everything towards like Goldie Roger and the whole controversy in the past week or so. Thank you guys for watching. Write in the comments, what do you guys think about the past chapter? Did it make Roger look, I don't know, bad to you? Or have that chapter made Roger even more relatable and better character in your opinion? Thank you guys for watching. Mwah.